Bit of an overcast day. It's going to be very warm. Good day for baseball, and Jim Kelch, a pitching matchup of two young right-handers trying to make their way here at the highest level of the game that there is.
Well, Raisel Iglesias has been easily the most consistent pitcher that the Reds have thrown out there, although he has gone in reverse order in terms of his outings. 6 innings, 5 2/3, and 5, so he needs to be going the other direction. But yeah, he's been pretty consistent. And on the other side of things, Chad Bettis, this Rockies club is being led by 27-year-old Bettis, 27-year-old Tyler Chatwood, neither of whom are a major part of their rotation 1 year ago. And in terms of Bettis, he has had 2 very good outings as
innings, and it and the Reds were true after a splendid outing here last night to win his second game without defeat, and taking his place on the staff, a young man who since he has been brought up today. Spot in the bullpen with Robert Stevenson going down to Louisville. The Reds have designated for assignment Kivas Sampson. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Suarez, and he breaks his bat, hits a roller to third. Arenado throwing, and they're 2 out. Joey Votto, the 2-out batter. At United Dairy Farmers, you can turn small purchases into big gas savings. Sign up card and never pay full price on gasoline again. Talk about a slump. Very un-Joey Votto-like. 0 for his last 12, 1 for his last 16 as he looks at a first pitch strike. And enters this game today with a 196 batting average, a home run, and 7 runs knocked in. That is working quickly and throws it inside. It's a ball to strike. The infield shifts to the pull side or to the right side of the infield for this left-hand batter. Bettis kicks, throws. Votto taking up and in. It's 2-1. Iglesias retired the Rockies in order in the top of the inning, and that's what Bettis is attempting to do in the bottom half, and now missing the outside corner and is behind in the count to Votto. 3-1 with Brandon Phillips on deck. Outfield pretty much straight away, maybe bunching the power alleys just a bit. Votto takes strike 2 call. Second baseman DJ LeMahieu really out there in right field. And Bettis now waiting on Votto to get back with a count of 3-2. Here's a payoff pitch. And he struck him out swinging, and the inning is over. He got him with a good breaking ball down. We go to the top of the second. The Reds and the Rockies are 0-0 on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network.
Spring is here. It's time for a fresh start, and it's time to love TV again. With Cincinnati Bell's new My TV packages, you control the channels in your lineup. Pay for the channels you want.
Be one of the first 25,000 fans to receive a Votto-matic Super bobblehead this Saturday, thanks to John Morrell. It'll be the Reds and the Cubbies, and you can watch that bad boy for as low as $12. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit Reds.com. So we go to the top of the second, middle third of the batting order, led by Nolan Arenado. And the pitch is taken down for a ball. Coming off of an incredible 2015 in which he hit 42 home runs and knocked in 130 runs. That pitch is up and away for a ball, and I would say that he's gotten going pretty good here in 2016. 6 homers, 16 RBIs. The latter figure second best in the National League. And dangerously pitching behind in the count is Iglesias to Arenado, and now gets a high fastball in for a call strike.
Try to get through one more day with him in town and not bombarding the fences.
That is exactly right. This young man is so incredibly talented in all facets of the game. A line drive and a diving grab by Suarez at third. The infield defense right now for Cincinnati is impeccable. That's a second base hit that the corner infielders have taken away from Colorado batters. The play that Votto made on LeMahieu. And now this diving stop off to his glove side by Suarez to pick Arenado clean. Here's Gerardo Parra. Better late than never, I've always said.
I'm not sure I'd agree.
Here's the windup and the pitch, and that's a ball low and inside. There, the dulcet tones of C. Trent Rosecrans, who does such a sensational job in covering the Reds club for the Cincinnati Enquirer. Here's a 1-0 pitch, and that's foul off, and you were where?
In the press box doing writing.
I see.
And then, Mark Shelton always loves to do this. He'll wait until the first out. Shouldn't one of you be in the Reds?
See, that's cruel. That's not right. That's not right at all. 1-1 pitch.
Smiles.
That
giggles.
pitch. 2 balls in
Girl,
1 strike.
Goes, really high pitch.
Did you race in here?
I did.
You did? Okay. Well, at least
your
heart's in the right place. Well, I understand. I know. 2-1 the count on Parra, a left-hand batter with 1 out, no score here in the second. And that one is hit hard to center. Hamilton backs and makes a play for the out. Is Brian Price wavering on his closing situation?
It's one of those things I asked him last night, how long is the rope on J.J. Hoover? And he said, well, he wanted to sleep on it, which at the time I thought may mean I want to tell him tomorrow.
Right.
And today he says, I'm still undecided. I want to give it some time. JJ's probably not going to pitch today because he's pitched back-to-back games in 3 of 4. So we'll have another day.
Mark Reynolds swings and misses.
So he didn't say yes or no.
Right. What are his options?
Well, that's the question. I think it's just finding a way to piece together 27 outs without, roles or labels or anything. That, to me, is the biggest and best option right now.
So, based on that statement you just made, then that if that's what he plans on doing without making any kind of an official announcement, that means we'd see different people almost every night in the 9th inning in a bid to get the 25, 6, and 7 outs.
Right, and those 3 are, sometimes the 22nd is just as important. And I think
that's right.
There's a big part of that is just trying to get there and see what's left.
Mm-hmm. 2 balls and 1 strike on Reynolds, 2 outs here in the second inning.
Because we can all agree it's not been easy to get to those last 3 outs all the time.
That would be accurate. 2-2 on a half swing, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And
the one that's most interesting to me is I can see Michael Lorenzen as just a lights-out closer.
Oh, I can too, and I don't think anybody would argue that, but it's going to be a ways before he's ready to pitch up here.
A while. But it'll be quicker for him to come in as a reliever than
no question about that.
As a starter.
There's a pitch just missing inside, and a 3-2 count now on Reynolds with Ben Paulson due up next, chatting with C. Trent Rosecrans from the Cincinnati Enquirer. And Iglesias sets for the 3-2 pitch. Tries to put him away, and he does. Strike 3 call, and that's the inning. It was oh so sweet.
That's absence makes the heart grow fonder.
But it was very informative.
No, it was neither.
Yes, it was.
Oh, good. I'm glad you thought so.
See you again in a few days.
Sure.
Thank you. Trent Rosecrans from the Enquirer. 3 men up, 3 men down. Middle of inning 2, no score.
The RV that will take you and the whole family cross-country. The RV that makes National Forest synonymous with happy place. So what are you waiting for? 180 types of woodpeckers are ready to be identified.
Geico for your RV. See how much you could save.
The new Typhoon Tower with the world's largest hydro storm is waiting for you at Coney Island, along with the classic rides, live shows, and attractions. Season passes are now on sale at ConeyIslandPark.com. That's ConeyIslandPark.com.
First up, bottom of the second, no score, and Brandon Phillips waiting on Chad Bettis, and he takes a strike at the knees. He had an outstanding ball game at the plate last night, 4 hits and 4 times up. In fact, he singled, he doubled, he tripled, and with a shot to hit for the cycle and getting the hits in order, he had a hard base hit up the middle his last time up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now batting .333, a home run. He's knocked in 6. Defense plays this guy straight up, and he swings and hits a liner by the diving Trevor Story. And Parra will pick it up in center field, and that's a leadoff single for Brandon Phillips, and he's now 5 for his last 5. Here's Jay Bruce as we take a look at our Cincinnati Bell trivia question of the game.
I'd really like to get one right.
I would like to see you get one right. Text your answer of A, B, or C to 66128 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, a $25 Skyline Chili gift card, and a free haircut from Great Clips, brought to you by Cincinnati Bell. You entertain. Ball 1 to Jay Bruce. Of the 6 league MVP seasons enjoyed by Reds players in the 1970s, Jim Kelch, you following me now?
No, read that again.
Oh,
of
boy.
the 6th league.
Here's a pitch. Swing and a foul. Of the 6th league, let me phrase it. I know it's a little bit tough for you to understand.
Yeah.
Of the 6 National League MVP seasons enjoyed by Reds players in the 1970s.
Okay.
Only one of them found the MVP, leading the Reds in batting average, home runs, and in runs batted in. Who was that MVP? High fly ball. Hit well. Hit back into deep right center field. And the Reds lead it 2-0. Jay Bruce got it up in the air and hit it out of here to the left of the 370 sign in right center field. Number 4 for the Reds right fielder. And Cincinnati jumps out on Bettis and company 2-0. So 4 home runs now for Jay Bruce, along with 15 runs batted in. And now Adam Duvall will stand in. Only one of them found the MVP, leading the Reds in batting average, home runs, and RBIs. You understand me?
Yes.
Who was it? A, Johnny Bench, B, George Foster, or C, number 8, Joe Morgan? 1 strike on Duvall, and a ball away. 1-1.
Boy, I'm going to say. I'm going to say George Foster. What letter is that?
That would be B.
I had 3 B's in a row.
Call strike on the inside, a breaking ball to get ahead of Duvall.
But I'm going to stick with B.
That would not Johnny Bench, not Joe Morgan, but the man they called Yahtzee, George Foster.
Yes, indeed.
Swinging a foul by Duvall.
I didn't know they called him Yahtzee.
That was his nickname.
Does he like the game of Yahtzee?
I have no idea. .258 batter is Duvall with a run batted in, still looking for that first home run. He had 5 in a limited number of at-bats in September last year for this club. Of course, led the Coast League in home runs last year. And then came the trade that sent him from the Giants to the Reds. Count evens on him at 2-2. 2 runs in, nobody out. Single by Phillips, long ball by Bruce. The line to pitch. And he reaches and fouls it out of play.
Bruce now just 2 home runs away from equaling Adam Dunn for the most home runs ever hit here at GABP.
How about that? Bettis waiting on Duvall to get back in the box. And he pitches. And here's a fly ball. Tattooed back into left field, and the Reds have hit him back-to-back. First Jay Bruce, and now Adam Duvall. The Reds are lighting up Chad Bettis, and they jumped out in front 3-0.
Bettis had given up 2 home runs in his first 3 starts, covering 18 1/3. And welcome to Great American Ballpark. 2 home runs here in the second.
So back-to-back they come, and come rather quickly. And now here's Tucker Barnhart. First set of back-to-back home runs the Reds have hit here in 2016. First pitch hitting a fly ball to fairly deep left, but plenty of room for Ben Paulson to haul it in for the out. Adam Duvall's home run marks another donation from United Healthcare to organizations improving children's health in Cincinnati. United Healthcare, the official health and wellness company of the Reds. Ivan DeJesus Jr. hoping today is a charm of sorts. He has come out of the gate and he is hitless in 15 official times up. And he sends a fly ball back into right. That ball is hit well, and it's caught on the warning track. Gonzalez breaking back on contact, and right now Chad Bettis not fooling a whole lot of people.
Wasn't like this in the first, but they've certainly come out and attacked him here in the second.
We'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Bell Reds radio network. Reds going after a lot of early pitches. Raisel Iglesias hacking and sends a fly ball out toward right, where Gonzalez gathers it in, and a rough second comes to an end for Chad Bettis. Jim Kelch will have the play-by-play in the third. After 2, it's a Reds 3 and the Rocks nothing on the Cincinnati Bell Reds radio network.
As the wrap-up of this series continues, the Reds and the Rockies 3-0 in favor of Cincinnati. 2-run homer by Bruce. Solo shot, his first home run of the year by Adam Duvall. And now back to work goes Raisel Iglesias, who has faced and retired all 6 that have come up there against him thus far. You got the left fielder, the 7-hitter Ben Paulson to lead it off. Then the catcher Dustin Garneau. Then the pitcher Chad Bettis. First time out for Iglesias against Colorado in his career. Rookie last year, 18 games, 16 starts, but not one appearance against his Colorado ball club. So they see him for the first time. In fact, the only Rocky and has played against him before, as Mark Reynolds is a member of the Cardinals last year. Here's Paulson, left-handed batter. He takes ball one inside. Iglesias playward. Paulson takes another one off the plate in on him. Ball two. It's 2-0. Comes into the game at 3:33 with a homer, 7 runs batted in. That home run came here in game 1 of the series in the 8th inning on Monday night. There's a foul ball back, and it's 2-1. And a pair of hits last night, including a 2nd inning run producing base hit. Here's the 2-1. Swung on. Got under it. Pops it up into shallow center. Long way out for DeJesus. Now he is called off by Billy Hamilton. He has it for out number 1. So 7 up, 7 retired by Raisel Iglesias. The batter now will be the catcher, Dustin Garneau. Garneau replaced Nick Hundley on this roster in terms of catching, and replaced Charlie Blackmon on the roster when Blackmon went on the DL. He is the backup right now to the man we've seen the first 2 games of this series, Tony Walters, while Hundley is on the 7-day concussion DL. Garneau, right-handed batter, and he takes a ball outside, ball 1. He's only had 3 at-bats since coming up from AAA Albuquerque. Down there, he was 4 for 18. He takes the ball high. He's at 2 balls and no strikes. Pitcher Bettis waits on deck. Iglesias rocks, delivers. Garneau swings and misses. And he's at 2 balls and 1 strike. Defensively, they play him straight up. The pitch way outside, ball 3, and now it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Garneau, a product of Cal State Fullerton. In his big league debut last year, 22 games for the Rockies. The pitch. Curve, swing, and a miss. And it's 3-2. 3-0 Reds. We're in the top of the 3rd. Reds win this game. They will be 3-0 in series here at Great American so far this year. Strike 3 called. High fastball to Garneau. Iglesias gets the call. Strikeout number 2 for the Reds right-hander. They're trying to go through now the batting order from top to bottom without working from the stretch as he faces the pitcher, Chad Bettis. So if the Reds win, they will have won all 3 series here at home. If the Rockies win, they would have won all 3 road series that they have played so far this year. Bettis takes a ball inside. They started the season winning 2 out of 3 on the road at Arizona. Won 2 out of 3 at Chicago on the front end of this road trip. Split the first 2 here. There's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bettis on the year a hit, 1 for 6. The pitch. Tapper toward 3rd is foul. 1-2. Certainly encouraging what the Reds are seeing out of Iglesias here today. He's been 90+ pitches in each of his first 3 starts. The longest of which was the opening day start against Philly when he went 6. Breaking ball, strike 3 called. He dispatches his counterpart Bettis and goes through the Rockies in order through the first 3. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. 3-0 Reds on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network. Billy Hamilton to lead things off for the Redlegs here in the bottom of the third. Strength of the 2 home runs by Bruce and Duvall. Cincinnati in front in this game 3-0. Hamilton to be followed by Suarez and Votto. They get ready for the offerings of the right-hander Chad Bettis. First one, a big breaking ball, dips low for ball 1. Billy led off the Reds first, grounded out to the shortstop. Nice play by Trevor Story, moving to his right. Here's a ball high, 2-0. Hamilton has been by and large the bottom of the Reds order this year. Ground ball to the right side, moving to his left, and making the play is DJ LeMahieu. They just do get Hamilton at first, and out number 1. Billy's leading off today for the 4th time this season. Here now is Suarez. In case you missed the move earlier, the Reds once again optioned Robert Stevenson back down to AAA Louisville after the game last night. Today called up from the Louisville Bats, right-hander Drew Hayes, who when he gets into the game will make his big league debut. First pitch strike to Suarez. Next ball inside, 1 ball 1 strike. With the Louisville team this year, 1-0 with a save in 3 games. ERA 6.23. All those runs, he gave up 3 so far in 3 games down there. Came in 1 outing. His last time out was a 2-inning scoreless, hitless appearance.
He has some nice outings in spring training.
Very nice. Swing and a miss by Suarez. 2 balls 2 strikes. He was not a 40-man roster player, but it looked like he and maybe Diane Diaz were going to make the team.
Sure did.
Neither of them did.
Well, there were some big-time 11th-hour decisions about who did and who didn't.
Ball 3 inside to Suarez, full count.
And I think anybody knows anything about this game knows that this club has tried to figure out a way to improve the effectiveness of one of the worst bullpens in baseball.
Foul ball out of play. Let's go into today in terms of their bullpen. 5.79 ERA. These 2 teams came into this series bottom 2 teams in the National League in terms of their relief pitching ERA. The jam shot to the shortstop, backpedaling a step to get it. Story, strong throw across. Suarez is out 6-3, 2 down. The batter will be Joey Votto. And when you come to see the Reds, be sure you've downloaded Ballpark, the official Great American Ballpark app, on your iPhone or Android. Check in at the game to unlock special offers, exclusive content, and seat upgrades. Download Ballpark for free, and don't forget to turn on your phone's Bluetooth. 2 out, nothing shaking for Joey Votto, who is trying to snap a 0 for 13 and 1 for 17 drought. Came into the game at 196, sitting now at 192. The pitch, check swing, strike. And he's quickly down, no balls, 2 strikes. Working quickly, Bettis to Votto, check swing, strike 3. He is out of there. He's fanned twice in this game, and his drought goes to 0 for his last 14. Down in order go the Reds. We head to the 4th. 3-0 Cincinnati on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network.
the crew at MLB Central.
Hey, good morning, America.
As baseball's best players and biggest fans jump on board. Next up, MLB Central. Live every morning at 10 Eastern, only on MLB Network.
American Ballpark, 3 runs, 3 hits for the Reds. All zeros across the board for Colorado thus far in this game. And they start at the top for the second time. DJ LeMahieu, their second baseman, who lined one at Votto to get this game started, steps in there against the right-hander Iglesias. Well, for the second time out of 3 games in this series, we had an honorary first pitch thrown out today by a former Ohio State Buckeye. Monday night it was Braxton Miller. And today, former Ohio State Buckeye Darren Lee, linebacker, projected to be a first-round pick next week's NFL draft. Big guy out there. Big guy.
Folks cannot get enough of their Buckeyes in this state, Jimmy.
Foul ball back. Yeah.
Just like the folks in the Bluegrass cannot get enough of the basketball Wildcats. You know what I mean?
I don't, but Doug Flynn does.
Yes, he does.
Monday it was Phillips did the catching for Miller. Today it was Billy Hamilton catching Lee. There's a slight size differential when those two got together afterwards.
Just a fraction.
Yeah.
If you stood them up side by side, you'd have a hard time discerning which one weighed the most.
You might be able to get 3 Billy Hamiltons into 1 Darren Lee.
Indeed.
Hard hit ball to the right of Phillips, diving. He cannot come up with it, and that's a base hit for LeMahieu, and that's the first Colorado base runner of this game.
Well, this is the old proverbial second time through the batting order. They've seen him once, and now they start through the second time, and LeMahieu promptly reaches on a base hit.
This Colorado team has scored 8 runs in this series on 12 hits. They really have been kept in tow by the Reds pretty well, considering how they came in. One of the top hitting teams in the National League, leading the National League in home runs coming into this series, and they've hit 3. So we see Iglesias from the stretch for the first time. He deals now with Trevor Story. First pitch outside of ball 1.
We've heard from the old coach down in Kinston, North Carolina.
Yes, indeed.
I like this Robert Duvall. He has some pop. Why did they send McLean Stevenson down to Louisville? Give my best to Thom, the old coach.
He's always considered, asked about, and says hi to the family.
He does. It's good about things like that.
Tap foul, 1 ball and 1 strike. You guys have a special and long-standing relationship.
Well, the fact he lives in North Carolina means that's kind of special for me, considering my background and being one of the outstanding coaches down there in Kinston for so many years. He's a baseball guy, as he will tell you, and he's a big fan of the Reds.
And apparently he loves Robert Duvall.
Indeed.
To first, and back in time over there is LeMahieu. He is a big fan, the old coach is, of the Hot Stove League.
He is, no question. He sets everything aside on Tuesday night from 6:05 until 7 o'clock in the off season to dial us up on the internet.
I do have a question though about the old coach to you. Is it his brother, cousin, or are they not related? Carl, who lives in Columbus.
I don't.
Is there any relation there?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It could be. I don't know about that.
Okay.
It could be a distant relative. But I think Carl could tell us if the family tree would indicate that part of the family originated in North Carolina, which would give some substance to the possibility that they are related. I don't know.
Great minds think alike. Those two think exactly
Boy,
alike.
they sure do.
Swing and a miss. They got Story to chase that pitch down and away. Iglesias following the game plan to get Story, gets him on strikes. Strikeout number 4 for the Reds right-hander. Brings Carlos Gonzalez to the plate. Gonzalez started the year with an 11-game hitting streak. It ended on Sunday in Chicago. Had a hit here on Monday. Hitless last night, 0 for 4. In fact, the top 4 hitters in the Rockies lineup last night went a collective 0 for 16. Short lead at first by LeMahieu. And the pitch is taken for a strike. Strike one. Talking about Robert Stevenson and his win last night, he became the first Reds pitcher to win each of his first 2 big league starts since Larry Lubers back in 1993.
Larry, an old Northern Kentucky boy.
Wasn't it his dad?
Yes.
Who bought the old
Crosley Field.
Yeah. The pitch. Check swing, appeal, denied. 1 ball, 1 strike. Or at least bought pieces of it and
correct.
rebuild it back on a farm. Yeah. Last guy to win his first 3 big league starts for the Reds. You remember the name of Wayne Simpson back in the late 60s, 67. The pitch. Down and in. Nice block by Barnhart. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Sunshine coming out now. Been battling a losing fight up until the last few minutes, and now it is out, and the whole field is bathed in sunshine, and a very, very good day here in Cincinnati.
Well, let's hope we get some of this over the weekend against the Cubs.
Yep.
2 balls and a strike. Gonzalez, the left-handed hitter, waits. And Iglesias delivers. Tip foul. Count evens. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You said you were a Motley Crue fan, didn't you?
I did not say that.
I thought you did. How could I have made that mistake?
Well, because you look over here and you naturally think that I'm Jeff Brantley, and Brantley is a huge Motley Crue.
He is?
Isn't he? Doesn't he like that kind of?
I don't know. How about Carlos Santana?
I don't mind Carlos Santana.
You saw where the group is back together again. The original group.
No.
And they opened in Las Vegas a few days ago.
Really?
Yep, they're on tour.
I did not see that.
The original group. That'd be kind of big.
You follow the music scene very closely, don't you?
I'll tell you how closely I follow it. Oh.
There's a ball hit down the left field line against the shift, just inside the third base bag. It goes all the way to the corner. They're going to wave LeMahieu around. He will score standing up on a double by Carlos Gonzalez, and the Rockies are on the board. It's now 3-1 Reds. For Gonzalez's 4th double, his 11th run batted in. So how closely do you follow the rock music scene, or the music scene in general?
I'm such a big music fan that I subscribe to Rolling Stone magazine.
Still.
I mean, still.
Well, a lot of people get it online. You can read it online.
You know, the old people like to turn the page.
Yeah.
Physically turn the page.
And have you subscribed to it for how long?
2 years.
Oh, I thought it was a long.
Oh, no.
You enjoy reading all the stories about what's going on in the musical world?
The music business. I'm not a big fan of all the stuff they write.
But you like to stay current on the music business?
Yes.
There's Nolan Arenado, ball outside, ball 1.
And I could have sworn that you were a Motley Crue fan.
No, I couldn't name a band member or a song or where they're from. I've heard of them.
I guess you're not a fan then.
Now, I was a fan years ago of the band. There's a throw down to second from his knees. Phillips was behind the bag, and back into second goes Gonzalez. Of Mott the Hoople. You ever heard of Mott the Hoople?
Yeah, we've gone down this road
We
before.
have?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Okay. And
in fact, our good friend Cliff Radel, who is with the Cincinnati Enquirer, and his mom's such a great fan, and he's a great fan, and he made a comment about that when we discussed it last year or the year before last.
Breaking ball inside. How about Warren Zevon? Did you like Warren Zevon?
I did not.
I really like Warren Zevon.
How about the band? That's a little bit probably before you. Robbie Robertson and.
Again, I know the name, but I don't know anything about it.
That's a nice group. That was a nice group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the pitch. Ball high, ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk issued to Nolan Arenado means there are 2 on with 1 out and a run in. First walk issued by Raisel Iglesias. I'm going to tell you something about the fellow who was the honorary captain of the game today is Mark Riggins, the National League leader, maybe the Major League leader. It visits to the mound.
Not maybe.
Back to the hill. Chase Bryant was the honorary captain, represented the Reds and brought the lineup card out.
He's an up-and-coming country music singer, isn't he?
Exactly right. Yes, he is. And I wanted to bring his name up because his grandfather, Jimmy Bryant, was a musician with Roy Orbison and Waylon Jennings.
Really?
How about that?
That's a pretty good background right there now. If you were a musician with the Big O.
Yeah.
And with Waylon Jennings, that's not bad.
You were talking yesterday about 7 groups who influenced rock music more so than others, and I thought Roy Orbison might be one of them.
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't think so?
No. I was stunned that the Rolling Stones weren't there.
Yeah.
I mean, Elvis was #1. You said that right out of the book.
I did say that.
And it was Elvis was 1.
We all thought the Stones would be there.
Everyone, you and me and Tom and Yid. Let's see, who's some of the others that we were not surprised at?
Led Zeppelin was there. Here's a line drive to the right of Phillips, a base hit into right center field. That's going to get Gonzalez home. Stopping at second base is Arenado. Run producing hit by Gerardo Parra. Makes this a 1-run game now at 3-2 Reds.
Well, the old game of adjustments, and as I said, second time through the batting order. Obviously, their hitters are making the necessary adjustments, and right now Iglesias seemingly is relying on the same things that stood him in great stead when he retired 9 in a row over the first 3 innings, and right now that's not getting it.
So the batter now will be Mark Reynolds, who burned the Reds last night in the 9th inning on that home run against J.J. Hoover. We mentioned Led Zeppelin. Also,
Led Zeppelin was there. The Jimi Hendrix Experience was one of them.
And there were a couple we didn't hear.
The Clash.
Clash, yes.
With all due respect, and I'm sure they are very successful and very popular. Never heard of them.
You never heard of them, or you didn't?
I've never heard of them.
Okay.
Have you?
The Clash, I've heard of them, but I don't know anything about them. There was one other one that I don't recall.
That was the last one of the 7, and I also have never heard of them.
The only one I think I heard of them was Tom. He had heard of them.
Well, that was probably a lie. Because he realized nobody else had, so he wanted to stand out by saying, oh, yeah, I've heard of them.
Don't say that too loud. The old coach likes them.
I know that. But you're right. Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix Experience, Elvis.
Showing bunt, pulling back, taking a ball is Mark Reynolds. One other note about our guy, Chase Bryant.
Yes.
Left-hander, like you. But when he started playing guitar, he couldn't find the left-handed guitar, so he learned to play the guitar on a right-handed guitar turned upside down.
Really?
How about that?
That's impressive.
That's what they call in New Orleans a little lanyard. Swing and a miss. Reynolds chased an off-speed breaking ball. He's a strikeout victim. 2 men down.
Well, we should make mention of the fact and give Chase Bryant a little love. He's going to be at Bogarts here in Cincinnati, which is for a long time a venue for up-and-coming groups. Somebody did a piece about that, about Bogarts, either in the Cincinnati Magazine or the Inquirer sometime back, and listed all the great musicians, bands or individual performers that had come through Bogarts on the way up.
Now, have you seen anyone in particular that sticks out in your mind at Bogarts over the years?
No.
No?
Negative.
2 on, 2 out, 2 in for Paulson. Left-hander takes. Strike 1 on the inside corner. But you understand the importance that it has played in the Cincinnati music
Oh,
scene.
boy. I mean, it's got an incredible contribution to popular music, rock and roll music, whatever it might be. those people who have come through this town over the years to have performed, and that was probably the place that they stopped off at.
Check of the runners by Iglesias, and now he brings it to Paulson, and it's inside for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. You got any concerts lined up?
I don't.
You saw
this job kind of, you know.
Yeah, but early on in the year, who did you see? The off day after opening day. You saw.
Not this year.
Yeah, you went to see somebody because I was on your foul ball out of play.
I didn't go anywhere the Tuesday after opening day.
It was in town. There's a show in town.
No, last year I went the day after opening day. I went to see Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, and spent an hour with Frankie Valli, which was big.
It was an Instagram thing that you went to see somebody.
This year?
I thought you did.
Marty stayed home.
Oh, you didn't go?
I did not go. Amanda and her mom and dad went to see Billy Joel over here at the Coliseum.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
babysat Millie.
Gotcha. Naturally.
Millie was not happy.
1-2, and the pitch to Paulson is inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You and Mills didn't bond.
Oh, Mills, we really bond. She likes me a lot. But Amanda's number 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know the feeling.
I'm sure you do.
RBI double by Gonzalez. RBI single by Parra has gotten the Rockies on the scoreboard in this inning. They trail 3-2 to the Reds. The pitch. There is ball 3 inside, and so as pitch efficient as Iglesias was through the first 3, he's now sitting at 60 pitches as he works here in the 4th, trying to get the final out. And what has already been a 2-run inning for Walt Weiss's club. Runners now will be on the move from second Arenado, from first Parra. 3-2 Reds here at the top of the 4th. Paulson digs in. Iglesias now gets what he wants. Runners on the move. 3-2 pitch, swung on, hit toward left center. Moving that way is Duvall. He hauls it in. Paulson is retired, and the inning is over. The Rockies get a pair. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Reds 3, Rocks 2 on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network. The Reds baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Bottom of the 4th inning. Phillips will lead things off against the right-hander Chad Bettis. Brandon, a base hit to center to start the 2nd, meaning he is now 5 for his last 5 after having the 4-hit game last night. Moves away from this ball inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Tip foul. And it's 1-2. More clarity came out today regarding the Reds pitchers who are currently on the DL and getting ready to start rehab, most notably Anthony DeSclafani, John Lamb, and Homer Bailey. Bailey is going to pitch tomorrow night for Louisville against Indianapolis. That'll be down at Louisville Slugger Field. Thursday night down there. John Lamb will follow him and pitch on Friday night against the Indianapolis club in Louisville. Bailey will be his first rehab start. For Lamb, it'll be his 2nd. Here's a swing and a miss by Phillips. He strikes out. And for Anthony DeSclafani, he is scheduled to begin a rehab assignment on Saturday for AA Pensacola, down in Pensacola against Jackson. So you have Bailey on Thursday against Indianapolis for Louisville. Lamb on Friday against Indianapolis for Louisville. And DeSclafani Saturday against Jackson for Pensacola. One out. The batter is Jay Bruce. Bettis now has retired 7 in a row since the Reds touched him up with a single by Phillips, the 2-run homer by Bruce, and the solo shot by Duvall. Here's the 1-0. Jay takes it low, a ball, 2 balls, no strikes. I mentioned only had Reynolds faced Iglesias prior to today. None of these Reds have faced Bettis before. Swing and a miss by Bruce, 2-1. Retired the Reds in order in the 1st. Gave up the 3 runs in the 2nd. Set them down in order again in the 3rd. Faces them here in the 4th. Ball inside, 3-1. The pitch. Swing, fly ball. Center field, Parra there. 2 out. Reds fans, if a Reds home run hits the Toyota sign during this afternoon's game, in honor of Marty's musical interests as of late, Jim Morrison from Erlanger, Kentucky will win the beautiful Tundra that's on display here at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Good luck this afternoon to Erlanger's favorite, Jim Morrison. Here's Duvall, and he swings and misses for strike 1. Duvall's first home run, 2nd RBI of the year. Wrapped up the 3-run 2nd for Cincinnati. Here's the 0-1. In on him, a ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Tucker Barnhart waits on deck. One pitch. Foul past 3rd, 1-2. Reds fans, satisfy your taste buds this season with JTM's beef and chicken Philly kits. These kits make 4 delicious sandwiches that the entire family will enjoy. Pick some up today in your grocer's freezer. That's JTM. Let's create great dishes together. On the way to Duvall, popped up. A shallow right. Out goes LeMahieu. Second baseman makes the catch. Duvall retired for the 3rd time in 4 innings. The Reds go in order. But as we head back to the 5th and return of Marty Brennaman, the score, Cincinnati 3 and the Rockies 2 on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network.
It is a 3-2 ball game. The Reds have the lead as we go to the top of the 5th inning. It'll be 8-9-1. Dustin Garneau and Chad Betts, and then the leadoff batter DJ LeMahieu. Rough 4th inning for Raisel Iglesias after retiring 9 in a row. Rockies jumped on him for a couple of runs in the 4th and now trying to rebound as he goes to work against Garneau, who struck out his first time up. He shows bunt. And did that pitch hit him, or was it a foul ball? He squared around the bunt, and that baby was bearing right in on his belt buckle, and apparently he fouled it off, and he's down a strike. A little bit slow getting back in the batter's box is Dustin Garneau, as Jim mentioned, a young man out of the state of California. Here's a wind-up and the pitch, and a pitch right in on his hands, and he fouls it off, and the count's no balls and 2 strikes. Cal State Fullerton, one of the great collegiate baseball programs in the country. He also attended San Pedro High School in San Pedro, California. And I bring that up only because the Reds have 3 interns working in the media relations department. The newest of the 3, check swing on a breaking ball, young man named Juan Dorado, and that's the same high school he went to. He was all pumped up the other day because the Rockies were in town, and you get a chance to see Garneau, who Juan played high school baseball with at San Pedro High School. It's a 1-2 count, and the pitch, and he starts and stops on a pitch up and away, 2-2.
So they actually played on the same team, or just at the same high school?
No, they played on the same high school team. Yeah. Rockies have had 3 hits. The Reds have had 3 hits, and it's a 1-run game, and that pitch is taken for strike 3, and Garneau knew it, although he turns and makes some comment to plate umpire Gary Cederstrom, and you can chalk out number 6 of the afternoon for Raisel Iglesias, who goes to work now on pitcher Chad Betts. I say Chat because that's what his first name was on the Reds note sheet for the last 3 days. Chat, not Chad. Chat Betts. It's on there today. Here's a pitch up high for a ball. Maybe his friends call him Chat. See you, Doc.
You know, you really need to buckle down and get into baseball.
I know it. Some people get all bent out of shape because we're talking about music. Heaven forbid you talk about something other than the game. There's a swing and a miss, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Focus.
You know what this means?
Yeah. Yes.
1-1 to count. And it's high, ball 2, 2-1. Iglesias turns, checks his defense, climbs back in. Tomorrow night, Cubbies are in town in the first game matchup. Brandon Finnegan for the Reds against Jake Arrieta. Here's a bouncing ball up the middle. It will be gloved behind second by the shortstop, and he throws him out. Good play. You got 2 guys pitching tomorrow night. Finnegan, who has been very, very good. And of course, Jake Arrieta just picking up where he left off in 2015. He is 3-0 out of the gate, and he's Joe Maddon's pitching choice in game 1 of that 4-game weekend beginning here at 7:10 tomorrow night.
Hasn't that been something, though, the turnaround by Jake Arrieta coming over to the Cubs a couple of years ago?
What must Baltimore be thinking now?
I mean, this was a middle-of-the-road pitcher. He didn't think anything of it when the Cubs acquired him.
Right. So after a rough 4th inning, he's trying to get him out in order and facing the guy who got him all started, the Rockies, in the last inning, LeMahieu, with a base hit. And the first pitch is a strike. Cardinals and the Cubs wind their series up in St. Louis today, and the Cardinals, of course, are looking at possibly being swept unless they can figure out a way to rebound and win a game with Carlos Martinez on the mound. They said, I listened to the last couple of innings last night, and Jason Hayward has been booed unmercifully in that series by Cardinal fans, and it must have been an insult to injury when he made a perfect throw to cut down a runner at the plate in that game last night. Vitally important because the Cubs ended up winning that game 2-1. Check swing a ball.
He's liked the fact that they've booed him. He said if they didn't miss me here and wanted me back, they wouldn't be booing me.
I think they boo him a little bit because the comments he made about the relative old age. Or
he says those are misconstrued.
Yeah, well, a lot of guys say that. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's fouled off. Garneau is struck out. Bettis is grounded to shortstop. DJ LeMahieu, a ball and 2 strikes. Pitch count now standing at what, 74 for Raisel Iglesias. Back he comes, fouled out of play to the right side.
How about that balk situation in San Diego last night with our Kentucky native Andy Green ultimately getting ejected? That's something.
Well, the most bizarre thing about that whole situation was that the umpires changed the decision twice.
Yeah.
They made a ruling. There was a balk. Andy Green came out. Then they said no, there wasn't a balk. Clint Hurdle came out. Yes, it was a balk. And then when Andy Green came out the second time, it was see you later.
Right.
Up high 2-2. Now I want to see how the Major League office handles that situation when the 4 umpires change the decision twice.
I'm not sure who the crew chief was, but the comments I read was the first time they discussed, the 4 of them got together, they were talking about whether Colin Ray, who was the pitcher for the Padres, quick pitched.
Right.
And they said no, he did not quick pitch. Then Clint Hurdle brought to their attention that he had broken contact with the rubber, then reestablished contact with the rubber. Thus they changed their mind.
And the video looked like he broke contact with a pitching rubber.
Yes, it did.
It's a 3-2 count now on DJ LeMahieu. Waiting on deck is Trevor Story. Iglesias wheels and deals, and that is strike 3 call, and see you later. He has punched out 7 of them, has Iglesias, and we're in the middle of the 5th inning with the Reds hanging on to a 3-2 lead on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network.
Quick Pitch with highlights from every game and previews of every upcoming matchup. Stay on top of all the action all season long. So keep your eye on Quick Pitch, late nights and every morning on MLB Network.
Reds turn to bat here in the bottom of the 5th with a 3-2 lead. Tucker Barnhart, the switch hitting catcher, first up. Hard hit ground ball between the bag and the coaching box at first. A foul ball. 3 batters in a row in the 2nd against Chad Bettis. Vados or Phillips single. Bruce hit a 2-run home run. Adam Duvall hit a solo home run. Swing and a foul again. And since that time, he has retired 9 batters in a row. He retired the Reds in order in the first, did it again in the third, and again in the fourth. So they had their one shot at him, and so far they've not been able to do anything against him since then. 2-2 on a fastball up and in. Ivan DeJesus will bat next, and the pitching spot comes up, and that's a strikeout swing, and he got him with a pitch up, and that's a 4th punch out today for Bettis. Fans, don't settle for basic energy service offered by your local utility. You deserve better. With Dynegy Energy Services, all Reds fans score an electric rate that is predictable and that is stable. Visit DynegyOhio.com//Reds to learn more. DeJesus flied to deep right his first time up, and still looking for that elusive first hit of 2016, and he looks at a first pitch strike. Ground ball foul at third. And Chad Bettis is locked in right now. Has not walked a batter, has struck out 4. Back in the box and waiting is DeJesus. The right-hander throws inside a ball. That's Rockies club. They've got a few guys on that in that rotation that they feel good about. Tyler Chatwood, Chad Bettis. Here's a 1-2, and that's a ball inside. And of course, last night the Reds roughed up Jorge De La Rosa, the 35-year-old left-hander, who is really the only true veteran presence that they have in that rotation. They need that guy to really step up with all the young pitchers surrounding him in this rotation. No question about their ability to score runs. They're going to do a whole lot of that. But then again, there have been a lot of Rockies clubs that did the same thing. Ground ball second. The pick and the throw by DJ LeMahieu, and it's 2 up and 2 down.
You've got this guy Bettis, who spent the early part of last year in AAA before getting the call up, and then you have Tyler Chatwood, who's been their other outstanding young pitcher so far this year, who missed all of last year after undergoing Tommy John surgery in July of 14.
And of course, Jordan Lyles, who had a rough time coming into this series and pitched brilliantly in the opener Monday night. Ground ball to third, drawn in Arenado from the grass. He straightens up and throws out Iglesias. We are through 5 full innings of play. We're really happy that you're with us on this Wednesday afternoon. 3-2 Reds on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network. their own uniform, special instruction from a Reds coach, guest appearances by a current Red star. Visit Reds.com/camps for more information. With Jim Couch, Marty Brenneman back at Great American Ballpark as we take this one on into round number 6. It's a 3-2 game, and the Reds lead by a run with Iglesias coming off of a 1-2-3 inning, coming off of a rough 4th. And now his work cut out for him, getting Story, Gonzalez, and Arenado in the 6th inning. Trevor Story, and the pitch, a breaking ball for a strike, has bounced to short and has struck out. Young man out of Irving, Texas, the son of a firefighter. Boy, he has set this league on its ear as he swings at that breaking ball away. That's the same pitch that Iglesias struck him out on in the 4th inning. And they say the book on him is, you're going to pitch him inside, you better pound him hard inside and then go away with soft stuff. And he has been very, very susceptible to that. Here's a ground ball off the end of the bat. The shortstop picks it and throws it, and Votto went up and came down on a high throw, a split second before Story got there, and there's one down.
Question then about the Rockies, Marty, becomes what do they do when Jose Reyes, if Jose Reyes returns, because they still owe him a lot of money through next year.
I would be very surprised if they decide to sit Trevor Story down. Now, what they're going to do with that contract and that player, only time will tell, and certainly it's not something that is of an immediate concern, but it's certainly something they're going to have to deal with when the time comes. Here's Gonzalez. He doubled in a run back in the 4th inning. Knocked in his 11th run of the year, and he takes it low, ball 1. As we check scores of other games, brought to you by Tide Pods. Pods are your 3-in-1 laundry solution with detergent, stain remover, and brightener all in one pod. Make laundry day simple with Tide Pods, available at your neighborhood Kroger. Swing and a miss. Only other game going on right now is that one involving the Cubbies and the St. Louis Cardinals at Busch Stadium. They are 0-0 with the Cardinals batting in the bottom of the 1st. Kyle Hendricks on the mound for the Cubs against Carlos Martinez and the Cardinals. Fly ball. Here comes Hamilton in center. He turns on the Jets, and he made the, no, he did not. And the throw to second will not be in time. It looked like Billy Hamilton misjudged that ball, because he was really not coming, or it did not seem to be that he was coming as hard as he normally would have been coming in on a ball. And by the time he realized that it was going to take a better effort, he tried to turn on both afterburners and simply did not get there. And that's going to be a double for Gonzalez, and that's a tie and run with 1 out.
He just made the announcement that is career hit number 1,000 for Carlos Gonzalez.
Here's Nolan Arenado in the 4th inning after LeMahieu singled, and 1 out later Gonzalez doubled in their first run. Iglesias pitched him very, very carefully. In fact, he ended up walking him, and that represents the only base on balls that Iglesias is allowed today. Now, same situation. Gonzalez at second. 1 out in the inning. Iglesias going to work, and he throws him a breaking ball away, ball 1. Gonzalez backing off the bag at second. The outfield playing the right-handed batting Arenado deep and straight away. The 1-0 pitch. Too high, ball 2. One other afternoon game will be getting started very, very shortly. The Angels and the White Sox in Chicago. Garrett Richards starts for Mike Scioscia. Chris Sale 3-0 out of the gate. On the mound for Robin Ventura. Talk about a team that's gotten some good starting pitching early now.
How about 3-0 for Matt Latos?
How about 3-0 for Matt Latos? Swung on, ground ball, shortstop. De Jesus has time. He throws him out. The runner holds at second. We'll pause for identification on the Cincinnati Bell Reds radio network. What's up, Chaz? big second out of the inning. He dropped down a bit on Arenado and got him to ground to shortstop, and now goes to work on Parra, who had a hit to right and knocked in the second run of that 2-run fourth inning. The check of the runner, the pitch way inside and low. Which the White Sox a winner last night, and on a night in which Todd Frazier hit his third home run. That club has a lot of reason to be very optimistic. The great pitching they've gotten early from Latos and Sale, and the fact that a guy like Frazier, learning a brand new league, getting off to a not surprising slow start because of that swing and a miss.
Well, you remember in the middle of March during spring training, Latos was at the Reds complex throwing in a B game.
Yep.
They were looking for innings for him, and he was there throwing in a 10 a.m. B game. Now he's 3-0.
1 ball, 1 strike. Gerardo Parra, Milwaukee, Baltimore last year. Now wearing the uniform of the Colorado Rockies. Former Gold Glover in the outfield. The pitch. Nope. Long hold, and Iglesias bluffs a throw back towards second. This will be his 90th pitch of the game. Now they come down to the belt and onto the plate, and a foul, and that's out of play off the left side and well back into the upper deck of the field level seats. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reds have the Cubs in town, as we mentioned, tomorrow night through Sunday afternoon, and then flying Sunday to New York, where they will meet the Mets Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Have an off day in Pittsburgh next Thursday, and then play a weekend series against the Bucks. Already in this still incredibly young year, they've seen the Cardinals, they've seen the Cubs in their division,
The Pirates,
and they'll see the Pirates again. Time call now, and Barnhart heading out to the mound to talk with Iglesias, and will be joined there by the shortstop Ivan De Jesus Jr. in the event there is any problem with the language, and it didn't take very long. Whatever Barnhart had to pass on to Iglesias, hardly before De Jesus Jr. got to the mound, it was over with. 1-2 the count on Parra, trying to leave Gonzalez at second. Check swing, started to go, but held up in time, and it's 2-2. Barnhart running through the signs. And now the break-even pitch. High, ball 3. Right now, nothing going on at all in the Reds bullpen. That has been an area where it's been a complete day of rest up to this point, but you can bet that will be changing in another inning or so. Hopefully not this inning. If you're a Reds fan, you'd like to see Iglesias get out of this inning with the tying run in scoring position. If he loses Parra, he's got to deal with Mark Reynolds, who he has already struck out twice today. And that should end the inning. A fly ball headed toward Duvall and left. He makes the catch. Side retired. 5.5 in the books. 3-2 Reds on the Cincinnati Bell. Reds Radio Network. Here we go, the bottom of the 6th inning, and it'll be the top of the batting order with Billy Hamilton to start it off. He's 0 for 2 against right-hander Chad Bettis. Reds have had 3 hits, but lead by a run. The first pitch to Hamilton, a ground ball wide at first, but there's LeMahieu, and he throws him out. 13 in a row now have been set down by the Colorado right-hander, and he'll deal with Eugenio Suarez, who's also grounded out twice.
Let's take a look here at a little Ask Marty in the bottom of the 6th inning, Mr. B. Chance to ask the Hall of Famer to give his thoughts on any subject, baseball or non-baseball, presented by CBTS.
Breaking ball, overhand variety strike.
Today's question comes from @Rhino_2016.
Certainly it is.
Rhino wants to know, Marty.
Yes, Rhino.
How do you feel about the new slide rule? Do you think it's taking some of the fun out of baseball?
No question about that.
Yeah.
I think this game is legislating it into a game of sissies. They're taking away all the contact. The rule at second base is ridiculous, and once again it's a knee-jerk reaction. Their strike 3 call to Suarez, who has not been able to solve Chad Bettis at all today. The home plate thing was a knee-jerk reaction to Buster Posey. Had all sorts of problems with that. Now the knee-jerk reaction to 2 plays at second base. This rule obviously now known as the Chase Utley rule, and they're trying to modify that thing on the run. I think it's ridiculous. I don't see anything wrong with the way things were in the past. If they want to change it, simplify it by saying if the runner comes straight into the bag, doesn't deviate left or right, everything is fine. Right. If he deviates at all in an effort to take the whether it's a second baseman or shortstop out, then they impose the rule. That's too simple for them. They have to make it an involved situation that has simply not worked. I heard Kiko Hernandez on a talk show this winter on MLB radio. He said there's nothing that gives me an emotional high more than knowing I've got to get rid of a ball with a runner bearing down on me at second base.
From the Dodgers.
Yes. Here's the 2-1, and Votto takes ball 3. I think it's ridiculous. I really truly do.
Well, we've seen it affect 2 games in the first week of the season.
We certainly have.
Most notable of which was the one in Toronto.
Yep.
Or involving Toronto.
Right. 3-1 to Joey Votto, and a swing and a miss. He has struck out twice today. He is now 0 for his last 14 and 1 for his last 18. And the batting average in an absolute free fall started at 196 today. He's now at 189. Payoff pitch to him, and he hits it hard. Second baseman in right field makes the play to throw him out. So Votto hits one right into the teeth of the ship, and LeMahieu picks him and throws him out, and the beat goes on for Chad Bettis. Still, as we go to the top of the 7th with Jim back with a play-by-play, the Reds are up 3-2 on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network.
That's 2-4-0 for Colorado. The Reds hope that that 3 spot they put up in the bottom of the 2nd inning will hold up here this afternoon, because they have not had a base runner since the Duvall home run that made it at the time 3-0 Reds. Mark Reynolds to lead things off in the 7th against Raisel Iglesias. First pitch of the inning is low, ball 1. Reynolds has struck out twice, once looking, once swinging. Right-handed hitter, power hitter, open stance. He takes a nice breaking ball for strike 1. He's at 1 ball and 1 strike. Iglesias has equaled now his longest outing of the year at 6 innings. He did that on opening day against Philly in that victory against Pete Buchanan's club. And he's working into the 7th inning here for the first time this year. Gets a strike in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Against the big shift, Iglesias to Reynolds, and a swing and a miss and a breaking ball down and away. Nice job by Raisel Iglesias. He gets strikeout number 8. That's the first out here in the 7th inning. That's a new season high for Iglesias, who fanned 7 on opening day. We'll deal now with Ben Paulson. So here are the Reds, who had not had a pitcher go 7 innings in the game through the first 14 games of the season. Were able to accomplish that feat last night with Robert Stevenson going 7. Now here's Iglesias on the mound, trying to make it back-to-back 7-inning games.
Bite your tongue now.
I'm just saying.
You've got to be real careful. This guy hitting right now, he can swing the bat.
Paulson 0 for 2 today, 3 for 9 in the series. Crushed one on a line to left his last time it was caught. Bounces one to the right side here. Votto to his right gets it. Flips on to Iglesias, the pitcher covering. 3-1 on the putout, 2 down. So yesterday we have the Reds and the Marlins going into the game as the only 2 teams that had not gone 7 from a starter. Stevenson does it. In the Miami game, Adam Conley goes 6 innings of no-run baseball, gives up a 7 spot in the 7th, ends up going 6 2/3, gives up 4 of his runs, and leaves the game after 6 2/3. And so Miami comes a third of an inning shy of also getting off the schneid in that regard. So they're now the only team in the big leagues without a start of 7 innings or more. 2 out here, nobody on. The batter is Dustin Garneau, who has struck out twice. First pitch, a ball. Right-hander Justin Miller now throwing in the Rockies bullpen. Foul ball by Garneau, a ball, a strike. Ryan Rayburn is on deck. Should the pitcher spot come up, he would bat for Bettis. Three-two Reds in the top of the 7th. Stretching and delivering. Ball low. Hey, we want to pass along a happy birthday wish today to the voice of the Louisville Bats, our good friend Matt Andrews.
Indeed. Very talented young man.
They're playing an afternoon today, also an afternoon game down in Louisville. Broken bat, ball hit down the left field side. That's a fair ball by Garneau. He's going to race in towards second. He gets there sliding with a 2-out double for Dustin Garneau, just his 2nd hit of the year. And he now represents the tying run in this game here in the top of the 7th. Garneau 2 hits this year, both of them doubles. So now Ryan Rayburn will bat for Chad Bettis. Rayburn appeared on Monday night as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning and struck out.
3 hits, 3 runs all earned, no walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 home runs.
He's off the bench to bat here in the top of the 7th.
3 runs all earned, no walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 home runs.
Rayburn this year 5 hits and 16 at bats, a .313 average with 2 home runs, 3 batted in, including one of those home runs a pinch hit shot. He bats here for Bettis, who was very strong through 6. In fact, in 5 of the 6 innings, sent the Reds down in order. The only 3 that reached: Phillips single, Bruce home run, Duvall home run. Here's the pitch and a ball. 2 balls and no strikes.
Blake Wood warming up now in the Reds bullpen.
This game has gone through the first 6 as we had expected. A very nice pitching matchup between Bettis and Iglesias. Right-handed hitting Rayburn waits the pitch. There's a strike called inside corner. 2-1. Check of the runner, the pitch, and a ball lined into right by Rayburn. That's a hit. Here comes Garneau. Here comes a throw from Bruce, and it is not in time. And the Rockies have tied things here in the 7th on a 2-out double by Garneau. A pinch hit single to right by Rayburn, and we are 3-3 here at Great American Ballpark. Second RBI of the 4 he has this year from a pinch hitting role by Rayburn. And now Brian Price emerges from the Reds dugout. Raisel Iglesias at a season high 107 pitches has thrown his last, as the Reds will make a pitching change here in the top of the 7th inning. He was an out away from a 7-inning outing. Can't quite get the job done. So a pitching change. Out of the game Iglesias, into the game right-hander Blake Wood. And we'll be back with more in a moment. To get the final out here in the top of the 7th inning. He will face DJ LeMahieu with the go-ahead run now, and Ryan Rayburn down over at first base, and 2 men out. 3-3 game here in the 7th inning. Iglesias 6 2/3, 6 hits, a walk, 8 strikeouts, and he gives way to Wood, who is appearing for the 8th time. A 1-0 record, a 1.35 ERA. Wood comes in for the first time in this series. He worked Saturday and Sunday in the series over in St. Louis. Now Barnhart out from behind the plate. They're going to appeal to third, and they call the runner out. They appealed third, saying Garneau missed the bag. The Reds appeal over there, and the third base umpire, Adrian Johnson, says, yes, indeed, he did. They call him out, and now Walt Weiss, the manager of the Rockies, will come out of the dugout. Stu Cole, their third base coach, is down there as well. The home plate umpire, Gary Cederstrom, who is the crew chief, told the Reds as they ran off the field to hang on, because this could very well be a situation that the Rockies may challenge. Now Walt Weiss is talking to Gary Cederstrom. Touching a base is a play that can be challenged. So Gary Cederstrom, the home plate umpire, talks with Walt Weiss as they walk from third base down toward the home plate area. Somebody from the Reds saw something, because right before Blake Wood was ready to pitch, Blake stepped off, threw over to third, and Suarez, they touched the bag, and the third base umpire over there, Adrian Johnson, signaled out. Now after that conversation breaks up, yes indeed, the Rockies will challenge this play over at third base.
Replay Challenge is brought to you by Von Lehman, providing forward-thinking accounting, tax, and business advisory services for complex business issues. Von Lehman, VLCPA.com. Boy, how bizarre would this be?
Somebody has good eyesight from the Reds. I don't know if it was Suarez over there, could have been DeJesus, could have been somebody from the dugout, but somebody saw that they thought Garneau missed third as he turned the corner.
Well, guys are standing down in foul ground off the first base side. A cluster of Reds players and some Colorado people around the first base bag, and everybody now, his eyes are focused on the big board above the second deck in left field.
So Rockies review.
You can't tell from that camera angle whether or not he made contact with the bag or he didn't make contact.
Interesting that they announced it as a Rockies review, but in looking at the instant replay procedure sheet, it says touching a base is a manager's challenge. Be that as it may, the man who made the call over third, Adrian Johnson, and the crew chief, Gary Cederstrom, are talking with the folks in New York about this.
Well, you would certainly hope that they have better access to camera angles. The only problem is this is one of those rare days where neither the Reds nor the Rockies are televising this game. The cameras that they are utilizing are the cameras in the ballpark, so you really don't have as many camera angles on any play that you would if one or both teams were televising to their home audiences.
And remember, in order to overturn this, they have to have clear and convincing evidence to overturn the call.
Well, now they show you the camera angle from the high third base camera, and that's inconclusive. You cannot tell whether or not, as Garneau reaches and then goes around third base, whether his right foot caught the inside of the third base bag or not.
You can see in the replay that we're looking at that Adrian Johnson is standing right there looking at third.
Yeah. Well, Blake Woods had decided to start throwing down again to battery mate Tucker Barnhart. They were side by side like everybody else was, looking at the replays on the big board here. And this has become a rather extended, protracted here, and they're about to come out of it now, and he is out. How about that?
Again, they would need clear and convincing evidence to overturn it. Not surprisingly, they don't get it. Out at third, so the Reds are still leading this game now at 3-2. Stretch time at Great American Ballpark. 3-2 Reds on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network.
See now, Rob.
Bottom of the 7th inning now. New pitcher on for Colorado. This is the right-hander Justin Miller, who relieves Chad Bettis in what is still a 3-2 game. Reds, after the Reds appeal that Dustin Garneau missed third, he is called out. It stands up upon challenge by Colorado. The Reds still have the 1-run lead as they bat here in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, Jim, I stand corrected. They are using 8 cameras here for this telecast today, even though neither the Rockies nor the Reds are televising the game. So they had adequate camera coverage, obviously, on that play.
Well, good news for the Reds as Phillips leads it off now against Justin Miller. First pitch on the way, and a strike is called, strike 1. Miller's 4th appearance of the year, 1-0 with a 5.40 ERA. He worked an inning last night. Retired the Reds in order in the 7th. 28-year-old out of Bakersfield, California. Stands on the far third base side of the rubber and delivers. Phillips swings and misses, and Brandon is 0-2 now in the hole. And a base hit in the 2nd. Struck out in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. Miller delivers. Phillips fouls it. The DraftKings pick of the day is Brandon Phillips. Brandon is on fire at the plate after going 4 for 4 last night with a double and a triple. Go to DraftKings.com now and use promo code REDS to play free. That's REDS at DraftKings.com. Play free today. No balls and 2 strikes. Justin Miller pitches. Phillips swings, hits it hard to third. Handled by Arenado. Throw across in time. Phillips is out. First out, bottom of the 7th. So Raisel Iglesias ends up going 6 2/3. Gives up 2 runs, 6 hits. 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Blake Wood, we believe, is credited with the out on the appeal since he had been announced into the game, and in fact he was the pitcher that stepped off and threw over to third base. Here now is Bruce, and Jay takes it low, a ball 1. Reds 3, Rockies 2, bottom of the 7th. Rockies go home after this game. Reds stay put here and welcome in the Cubs over the weekend. The pitch. Ball high, 2-0. Bruce tips it foul.
I just checked, and they've got a call into Elias right now to find out, 1, how the putout goes, whether it's 1-5 or 5, and who gets credited with the out. The feeling is that the out will be credited to Blake Wood because he'd already been announced in the game and Iglesias was out.
Okay. 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the pitch to Jay. And it's taken low, ball 3, and now he's ahead 3-1. So both starters credited with a quality start, regardless of whether Iglesias or Wood is charged or is credited with the out at third base. Bettis 3 runs, 6 innings. Iglesias 2 runs in either 6 2/3 or 7. Bruce fouls it back, 3-2. Adam Duvall waits on deck. Reds have not had a base runner since the 2nd. Justin Miller, the right-hander, ready again. And the 3-2 on the way. Bruce hits it in the air toward left. Late break in, but getting there is Paulson. Jay retired. He's 1 for 3, and there are 2 out. Western and Southern Financial Group wants to strike out cancer. All season long, every time a Reds pitcher strikes out a batter, Western and Southern will make a donation to the Barrett Cancer Center. As Western and Southern says, when it comes to fighting cancer, we are all in this one together. So 2 out. The batter is Adam Duvall. Pitch on the way to the right-handed hitting left fielder, and it's fouled straight back. Strike one. Duvall's home run in the second is first of the season, and the first time the Reds have gone back-to-back this year, with Bruce's 2-run homer and then the solo shot by Duvall. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, fouled back. No balls, 2 strikes. Phillips grounded out to third. Bruce flied to left. Duvall up there now, down 2 strikes. Barnhart on deck. Here it comes now from Miller. Fastball high, 1-2. Tomorrow night, Brandon Finnegan against Jake Arrieta. Friday night, John Moscott against John Lester. Saturday night, Dan Straley against John Lackey. Sunday afternoon, Alfredo Simon is listed against Jason Hamill. That's the 4-game series pitching matchup against the Cubs. Fly ball left field. Does he see it? He didn't see it right off the bat. Back goes to the wall is Paulson. He doesn't get it. And into second base with a double is Adam Duvall. Ben Paulson did not see that ball off the bat of Adam Duvall. He had his arms out, finally located it late, went back to the wall, could not come up with it, and the Reds have a chance here in the bottom of the 7th with a gift double off the bat of Duvall, thanks to Paulson unable to locate that baseball. Well, let's see now if the Reds can take advantage. 6 doubles now by Duvall this year. Here's Tucker Barnhart. He has flied out. He has struck out. He's 0 for 2 in this game. Stretching pitching. Swing. Ball hit well towards center field. Back goes Parra on the run. That's over his head, and that's off the wall. Duvall will score. Sliding into second with a double is Tucker Barnhart. And the Reds do indeed take advantage of the misplay by Paulson out in left to produce another run here in the 7th. And they now lead by a pair at 4-2. For Barnhart, his second run batted in. What should have been a 1-2-3 inning for Justin Miller turns into a run scoring frame for Cincinnati. The batter will be Ivan DeJesus Jr. Still looking for that elusive first hit of the season. Here's a swing and a pop-up, first base side and out of play. Tony Cingrani now starts to throw in the Reds bullpen. Scott Schebler is on deck. He will bat for Wood if DeJesus can keep this bottom of the 7th going. Ready to work. Miller the pitch. Ball hit hard towards center by DeJesus. Back goes Parra. Back goes Parra. He can't get it. Over his head and off the wall at the 4:04 mark. There's the first hit of the season for Ivan DeJesus Jr. Turns out to be a double and a run scored. Scoring is Barnhart. RBI number 2 for DeJesus. 3 straight doubles by the Reds. And they now lead this game 5-2 here in the bottom of the 7th. All of this due to the fact that Ben Paulson could not locate the fly ball off the bat of Duvall earlier in this inning. And now Schebler will bat for Wood, who did not throw a pitch while he was out there. Actually, now Schebler goes back and Wood will bat for himself. Here's the pitch, and it's a strike called. 1 ball and 1 strike. Blake Wood has a grand total of 1 career AB. He came back with Kansas City in 2011. Resulted in a strikeout. Bats is the first time for the Reds right here. The 1-1. Ball high, 2-1. Reds 5. Rockies 2. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Phillips had grounded out. Bruce had flied out. Duvall with the gift double due to the fact that Paulson could not locate the fly ball. The Reds take advantage with a run producing double to center by Barnhart. The same thing by DeJesus, his first hit of the season. Now swing and a miss by Wood. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Price had said prior to the game, and we touched base with him during our pregame interview, that he would not use, barring an extra inning game, J.J. Hoover today. There's strike 3 called. So if Cingrani's going to come in now, that could mean that there will be another person that would close in the 9th inning. Wood strikes out. Inning is over. The Reds pick up 2. We go to the 8th. Marty's back. 5-2 Reds on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network.
Inning. The Reds now with a little bit of breathing room. 5-2, and Blake Wood, who came on and never threw a pitch, but was credited with a third of an inning when the Reds threw over. Third base umpire Adrian Johnson called Garneau out. The Colorado Rockies issued a challenge. The challenge was denied. The call stood, and so Wood, having never thrown a pitch, and we've seen that happen many times when a pitcher comes in, picks off a runner, and the inning's over. This time it was a rather bizarre play at third base, and furthermore, the put out at third goes 1-5, and take away the hit from Ryan Rayburn and give him a fielder's choice. First pitch in there for a call strike to DJ LeMahieu from right-hander Blake Wood. So the totals in that inning read: no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. The only hit in the inning was the double by Dustin Garneau. No pinch hit single for Rayburn. It goes as a fielder's choice. The 0-1 pitch is low for a ball, and it's 1-1. They close the book once and for all on Iglesias. 6 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs earned, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. Wood ready with a 1-1 pitch, and that's way off the plate and low. Meanwhile, left-hander Tony Cingrani is warming in the Reds bullpen as we speak. And make that 5 hits off of Iglesias since Rayburn had the hit taken away from him. 2-1 pitch and a line drive into right field, and that's a base hit. So Blake Wood gives up an opposite field single, and now the shortstop Trevor Story will stand in, and he's hitless and 3 times up. He was 0 for 4 last night after beginning this series on Monday night with a double and a home run. Taking his time, Trevor Story taking his time, getting a good toe hold with that back right foot. He settles into the right-handed batter's box. The infield shifts to the pull side for the right-hand batter, who takes a fastball for a strike. Tough hitters to deal with here in this 8th inning. This inning has been bad news with capital B for this Reds club and its bullpen. That pitch is in for strike 2 call. Good fastball on the inner half of the plate. Clocked at 97 miles an hour. Nobody has ever accused this guy of not being able to throw hard. Got the left-handed batting Gonzalez on deck, and we'll see what Brian Price does after we find out what Wood does with Story. And he misses, and he missed by just that much, close enough that Story thought about it, started to bring the bat around, and was able to hold back in time. Reds in front 5-2 here in the top of the 8th. Now the stretch and the check of the runner and onto the plate, and that misses, and that was a close pitch, and it's 2-2. Gonzalez followed by Arenado, and if they get that far, Gerardo Parra. Ready with a 2-2 pitch. This is a big pitch right here, and that one is fouled off, and the count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I don't think that Blake Wood wants to go 3-2 on Story. Joey Votto staying right on the bag, trying to keep LeMahieu as close as he can. And again, the break-even pitch. It's on the way, and it's ball 3. He missed badly down with that pitch. So now a full count. Having given up a leadoff base hit to LeMahieu, and after getting ahead in the count against Trevor Story, Blake Wood has been unable to put him away with either the 2-2 pitch, the 1-2 pitch, or the 2-2 pitch. And now here comes the 3-2, and he walked him on a bad pitch inside, and the first 2 have reached here in the 8th inning. So on to second goes LeMahieu, and now in the heart of the batting order, the Rockies will have the tying run coming to the plate, and Blake Wood did not get it done today. Out of the dugout is manager Brian Price, and he will bring on the left-hander Tony Cingrani to face Carlos Gonzalez. So a break in the action, and we return to Great American Ballpark in just a moment.
Like your baseball by the numbers?
How many innings did you pitch? How many runs did you allow?
Or from the gut?
Roll the dice and give him a shot.
MLB Now, the show where great minds don't always think alike.
It's time for digging in.
MLB Now, weekdays at 4 Eastern on MLB Network.
He comes on here in relief of Blake Wood, trying to keep this a 3-run game in the 8th in favor of the Reds.
Well, ironically, he comes on now with 2 on. Gonzalez represents a tie and run, and it was Gonzalez who led off the 9th inning last night, and that's the only batter, as Jim mentioned. He faced one batter, Cingrani did, and he struck Gonzalez out. Tyler Holt, by the way, is taken over in left field for Cincinnati, and now Tony Cingrani tries to clean up the mess that he inherits from Blake Wood. Left-hander against left-hand batter. The infield will play rather conventionally, defensively speaking, and now Cingrani checks him and delivers, and the pitch is taken for a strike. Right-hander Ross Ollendorf picks up where Tony Cingrani left off in the bullpen. Reds have a 5-2 lead, but against this explosive offense of Colorado's, and they're stirring the pot up right now. That pitch is swung on and fouled, and the count's 0-2. Well, you got Arenado on deck, a right-hand batter. Then you've got Gerardo Parra after him, a left-hand batter. And of course, this Reds bullpen has only one left-hander in it, and that's a man out there pitching right now. So Brian Price is really handcuffed in situations like this. If he wants to mix and match, he doesn't have a lot of latitude. That pitch is way high. Five-run, 6 hits for Cincinnati. 2-run, 6 hits for Colorado. Neither team has committed an error. They've got LeMahieu at second. They've got Story at first. Nobody out. The pitch. 2-2. Left-hand batter taps the play with the head of the bat. Tucker Barnhart hanging aside for the edification of Tony Cingrani, who pitches, and he's high, ball 3. Wow. He had him 0-2. And now a 3-2 count. The pause and the pitch. He walked him. It is amazing day after day how shocking you are sometimes over the absolute ineffectiveness of this bullpen. A base hit and back-to-back walks against two different pitchers. Brian Price will hang with Tony Cingrani against the right-handed batting Nolan Arenado, and Brian Price has said on numerous occasions he feels like Cingrani can get right-hand batters out just as well as he can get left-hand hitters out. We're going to find that out right now. First pitch, he goes around on a hard breaking ball that was boring in on his hands. 0-1. Been on one time today as Arenado, and that was a walk back in the 4th inning. Had a hit taken away on a catch of a line drive by Suarez in the 2nd, and routinely grounded the shortstop in the 6th inning. The pitch. Foul back, 0-2. LeMahieu at third. Story at second. Arenado at first. And in both walks, the one that Blake Wood issued to Story and the base on balls rendered by Cingrani to Gonzalez, the pitchers were ahead in the count 0-2 and 1-2 on both occasions and simply could not put them away. Very high on the infield. First baseman, catcher Joey Votto, fair ground, makes a catch between the mound and the first base line, and they are a third of the way home. Votto caught that ball in fair ground, and with one out, here's Gerardo Parra, who his only hit of the day, a single back in the 4th inning to knock a run in. Now, if they can induce a ground ball, it will have been quite a comeback for Tony Cingrani. And a big out right there, getting Arenado to pop up to Joey Votto at first base. So again, you've got the left-hander versus left-hander. And the pitch, and it's a swing and a miss on a breaking ball that he chased down in the dirt. 0-1. Jim mentioned earlier, this game's outcome will determine who wins the series, and the Reds win it, they will have won every series at home. If Colorado comes back to win it, they will have won every one of their series on the road. Parra taps it toward the second baseman Phillips. He'll throw to the shortstop. They get the force out with a run scoring to make it 5-3, but the Reds are looking for outs right now, and even though the run scored, they're 2 down in the inning with runners at first and third. So LeMahieu scores. On to third base goes Story. Take Gonzalez out of the equation. Brandon Phillips to Ivan DeJesus Jr. Parra on with a fielder's choice. He gets a run batted in. Here's Mark Reynolds. 3 times up, 3 times he has struck out. Takes it inside, a ball. He, of course, had a 2-run home run in the 9th inning of last night's game off of J.J. Hoover. After the Reds entered the 9th with a 4-1 lead, his home run made the final score 4-3. 1-0 pitch. Up and in, ball 2, 2-0. Red shift to the left side of the infield for this right-handed batting power hitter. And now it's 3 balls and no strikes. And if he loses Reynolds, he'll be facing another left-handed batter in Ben Paulson. Reynolds waving the bat around, now waiting. And there's the throw on to first base, and you could hear Eric Young Jr., the first base coach, screaming back, back, back. They are well versed in what kind of pickoff move Tony Cingrani has. As a result, Parra not getting but maybe a 1 or 2 step lead at first base. There's ball 4, and he did not come close to any of the 4 pitches out of the strike zone to Mark Reynolds. And now it'll be the left-handed batting Ben Paulson, and we might see Brian Price go back to that bullpen one more time. Or will we? Nope, it'll be Mark Riggins going out there. The Reds pitching coach heading out to the mound. It gives us a chance to pause for identification on the Cincinnati Bell Reds radio network. Long top of the 8th inning for the Colorado Rockies, who are trying to climb back in this one. They've scored a run to cut the Reds lead to 2. And for the second time in the inning, they had the bases loaded. Mark Riggins, the first-year pitching coach of the Reds, has just now returned to the dugout. And Paulson, who's flied out twice and bounced out, stands in with 3 on and 2 out. Fly ball to left. Tyler Holt coming, still coming, and he dives, and the ball hits off of his glove, kicks to foul territory, and this ball game is tied up. A double to left by Ben Paulson, a 3-run 8th inning for the Colorado Rockies, and they have tied this game up at 5-5.
Interesting, wasn't it, that he went up there swinging after Reynolds walked on 4 straight pitches with the bases loaded, probably figuring he'd get something he could handle, and he did.
Tyler Holt came a long way and dove for that ball, but it hit off the end of his glove and rolled into foul ground. And it really looked like Stu Cole was caught betwixt and between as to whether or not he wanted to try and send Mark Reynolds. He ended up holding him up. And this one gets through the catcher, and the runner starts to come, and the throw to third, and he's out. The Reds get a big break on what would have been a wild pitch. It hit off the bricks and carried him right back to Tucker Barnhart. Mark Reynolds had gotten into no man's land. The throw down to third baseman Suarez, who tagged him, and that ends the inning. However, the 8th inning becomes and continues to be a nightmare for the Reds relief corps as Colorado scores 3 times, and going to the bottom of the 8th, this game is tied up at 5 on the Cincinnati Bell Reds radio network.
Unbelievable.
The death-defying.
It's just as pro as it gets.
The wild side of the game. You just gotta see to believe. Intentional Talk, weeknights at 5 Eastern on MLB Network.
New pitcher on for the Rockies, veteran right-hander Chad Qualls comes on. No record this year, the 9 ERA in 6 appearances, becoming the 3rd Rockies hurler of the afternoon.
Top of the batting order, Billy Hamilton leading it off. Up there, of course, batting left-handed against the righty Qualls. He shows bunt, takes the first pitch for a strike. He's grounded to short. He's bounced to second. He's bounced to second again. So 5-5. Reds scored 2 in the top of the 8th, bottom of the 7th. Rockies come right back with the tying 3 runs in the top of the 8th. And it's a ball of strike on Hamilton with Suarez on deck and Votto waiting in the wings. 12,979 turnout for today's Titanic struggle. 12,979. Ball 2, 2-1. Second appearance in this series for Chad Qualls. Swung on, line drive, caught. Billy Hamilton's hit into some tough luck today. That's the second fine defensive play turned in by the Rockies infield. That shortstop, that rocket picked off by shortstop Trevor Story, and it was a bullet. Bring up Eugenio Suarez, who has so far gone hitless today and 3 times up. One for 8 in the series, and he takes it low. Ball 1. They got a left-hander warming up right now. The Rockies do, and Boone Logan. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the right-hander Qualls sets, pitches. Swing and a foul tip into the middle of the catcher. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Close the book on Blake Wood. 1/3 of an inning, 1 hit, 2 runs, both earned, and 1 walk. Down and away, 2-2. Eugenio Suarez, a big first week of the year when he hit 4 home runs, and he's not homered since then. Sitting on 4 as he bats here in the 8th inning with his club tied with the Rockies at 5-5 and waiting on Qualls and the 2-2 pitch. And it's hit hard, backhanded on the short hop. The third baseman throws and got it. Nice play by Nolan Arenado, and now let's see if Walt Weiss will bring the left-hander Logan on to face Joey Votto. He will. In fact, he's going to make a double switch. Normally when the manager comes out of the dugout with a lineup card in his hand and goes first to the plate umpire, he's going to change a position player as well as the pitcher. And Brandon Barnes is coming off the bench. Looks like he's going to go to center field. And the center fielder Parra, no, let's see. Yeah, Barnes is going to go to center, and Parra apparently is going to move over to play left field. And Boone Logan will come on to pitch, and we'll be back in just a moment.
In 6 2/3 innings, he's walked 3, struck out 7. Boone Logan appeared in the game here on Monday night, an inning and a third. Faced Votto, was able to retire him on a ground out, and he faces Votto here in the 8th.
The struggles for the Reds first baseman continued today. 0 for 3. He's now 0 for 15 and 1 for 19. Batting average has spiraled all the way down to 185. His one home run was an opposite field home run in St. Louis over the weekend. First pitch, a strike. Chad Qualls did his job. 2/3 of an inning. Nothing but zeros. Votto waves 0-2. Catcher Dustin Garneau due to lead off the top of the 9th for Colorado. Swing and a miss. That's another strikeout. And the inning is over. The Reds are up and down in order against Qualls and Logan. Hence, we head to the 9th tied up at 5 on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network.
For Ohlendorf, his 8th game, a 9.45 ERA, and already has racked up 4 decisions. He's won 2, lost 2 this year, including suffering the loss here on Monday night when he gave up 3 runs, 2 hits in 1 2/3, and here he is to work the 9th inning.
Fans, stop by your neighborhood Kroger to save big store-wide. Great food, low prices. You get it all at Kroger. Close the book on Blake Wood. A 1/3 of an inning. He gave up 1 hit. He walked a batter and allowed 2 runs. Tony Cingrani worked an inning, allowed a hit, walked 2, and allowed a run. So the bullpen coughs it up in the 8th inning after the Reds had built themselves a 5-2 lead, and now here we are in the top of the 9th. Dustin Garneau standing in to hit off of Ross Ohlendorf. Ohlendorf with that big old-fashioned wind up and onto the plate, and a very high fly ball into short right field. It'll be Brandon Phillips's ball to play, and he does. 1 out. Brandon Barnes will bat for the first time as we take a look at our Cincinnati Bell trivia question. Of the 6 National League MVP seasons enjoyed by Reds players in the 70s, only one of them found the MVP, leading the Reds in both batting average, home runs, and RBIs. Who was that MVP? Was it A. Johnny Bench, E. George Foster, C. Joe Morgan? You said.
I said B. Yahtzee Foster.
And before I turn this card over, I've got to believe you're right.
Oh.
And I think because in 1977 he won the MVP award. Hit 52 home runs, knocked in 149 runs.
I figured those.
Batted 320 something.
Okay.
The answer is George Foster.
Yahtzee.
In the 77 year, club record 52 bombs. He batted 320. Club record 149 runs batted in. Foul ball out of play. That's the single greatest year I've ever seen a player have. Only Reds MVP to lead the Reds in each of the 3 Triple Crown stats during his MVP season. It was unbelievable. One ball and one strike on right-handed batting Brandon Barnes, and a foul again. They had a big, massive scoreboard at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia in right center. And in the first or second game of a series, he had a ball, I don't know, about 40 feet up, and they announced that it was the longest ball hit to right center in that ballpark off that scoreboard in the history of the ballpark. There's a swing and a miss. Strikeout, and the completion of it results in the throw from Barnhart to Votto. The next night he hit one about 75 feet up on it.
Now, was this by any hitter or just a right-handed hitter?
Oh, right-hand hitter.
Right-handed hitter.
That was in right center now. We're not talking left center.
Right.
A pop up and a strikeout, and that brings up DJ LeMahieu, who has been right smack in the middle of each of the scoring innings that the Rockies have enjoyed today. He began the 4th with a single. They scored twice in that inning, and then he started off the 8th inning against Blake Wood with a base hit, and they ended up getting 3 to tie this game up. So now he stands in with 2 out. Ollendorf delivers, and it's low, ball 1. Meanwhile, in St. Louis, the Cardinals look like they're going to get out of that series with a win. They're up 4-1 behind Carlos Martinez, who apparently is pitching brilliantly today, having given the Cubs a run on 3 hits over 6 innings. Foul ball. Matt Holliday got him started with a home run. Anthony Rizzo has accounted for the only Cubs run with his 4th home run of the season. One ball, one strike. Bottom of the 9th. The Reds have due up Brandon Phillips and Jay Bruce and Tyler Holt. Ball 2. Ollendorf seeking out the side from Tucker Barnhart with a 2-1 count. Kicks and deals. Swung on, fly ball, routinely hit. Jay Bruce measures in right side, retired. Ollendorf does his job. Let's see if the Reds offense can figure out a way to do theirs. Tied at 5 in the middle of the 9th on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network.
The pitcher on for Colorado. They go to their bullpen, but they bring in a man who has started for them once this year, Christian Bergman, a right-hander, 0-2 record with a 6.75 ERA. He comes on, relieving Boone Logan, working the bottom of the ninth.
Bergman, 27 years old, 6'1", 180-pounder out of Glendale, California. He was a 24th round pick in the June draft of 2010. Made his major league debut 2 years ago, June 9th, against the Atlanta Braves. Last year as a Rocky was 3-1 in 30 appearances, 4 starts. Facing Brandon Phillips to begin the home ninth, and it's in for a strike. Now the University of Cal Irvine. 1 ball and 1 strike on Brandon Phillips. On deck, Jay Bruce, to be followed by Tyler Holt. The Reds win now. They send them home happy. Game tied at 5 apiece. Windmilling the bat around, waiting as Phillips, swinging and didn't mean to, and he chased a fastball up to get behind in the count.
Drew Hayes is throwing in the Reds bullpen.
So this game should go to a 10th inning. Drew Hayes would apparently make his major league debut in the 10th. Check swing, foul ball out of play, right side, and the count holds at 1-2 on Brandon Phillips, who singled in the second on the heels of going 4 for 4 last night, but since that time has struck out and grounded down to Arenado at third base. Wind to pitch inside, 2-2. Corson Fire and Security is a proud sponsor of the Reds. It's also your local fire and security provider. Visit Corson.com to learn more. 9th inning, 5-5 ball game. Phillips for openers, and the 2-2 from Bergman. And a swing and a base hit to center field. So the Reds putting a little pressure right out of the chute on Christian Bergman. Jay Bruce hit his 4th homer of the year back in the second with a man aboard. Taking a look at that infield, they're still shifting to the right side for Bruce. With Arenado by himself on the left side, and the first pitch is ball 1 high. And now Arenado goes even further toward the bag at second base. I mean, a big gaping hole on the left side of this infield as they play the pull hitter, and that pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike. I realize that Bruce could win this game with 1 swing of the bat, but honest to goodness, I'd be so tempted to bunt right here. There is no chance, if he gets a bunt down, that they could throw him out. Showing no signs, however, as he gets ahead now, 2 balls and 1 strike.
We certainly saw him work on it on virtually every game in the spring.
And continues to do so. Bergman sights the sign. Phillips off the bag at first. Swung on, line drive into right. That's a hit. He beat the shift. Phillips journeys around second and pulls up at third. And the Reds are in business here in the home 9th inning. Tyler Holt is going to be taken down, and Scott Schebler is going to come off the bench, a left-handed bat to pinch hit. Schebler had been on deck earlier in this game, but then Brian Price, when the Reds scored the 2 runs in the 7th inning, opted to take him down before an announcement could be made and allow Blake Wood to bat. So a very opportune time to send this left-handed batter to the plate with a chance to win this game. And time has been called as Steve Foster, the pitching coach, heading out to the mound to talk with Bergman and the entire Colorado infield. We'll pause for identification one more time on the Cincinnati Bell Reds Radio Network. Meeting continues on the mound. Plate umpire Gary Cederstrom gets out there, and just as he does, Foster turns back to his right and jogs to the dugout. They will play the infield in, obviously nobody out, winning run at third. A line drive hit up the middle by Brandon Phillips, a base hit to right by Jay Bruce. The Reds are knocking on the proverbial wind door right here. And Schebler trying to wear the laurel of hero as he settles in from the left-hand batter's box and waits on Christian Bergman. Swing and a miss. He threw that ball by him. 0-1. Boy, Bergman not shying away at all. He came right at him with the first pitch. 1 strike and nothing. Phillips down the line from third. The pitch. And it's a ball low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
With the Rockies infield in, and the Rockies wearing black jerseys, and the umpires there as well. Looks like there's about 8 infielders there.
It does. If it means anything, Schebler 1 for 5 off the bench as a pinch hitter. He swings again and misses, and he chased a pitch up in his eyes right there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. On deck is Tucker Barnhart. But the Reds want to see this thing end right here with Schebler at the plate. Although at the moment, Bergman getting the better of him on 2 big swings and misses. Now the hole by the right-hander, pitching, and a foul ball back to the screen. Bergman rubbing up the baseball as Schebler steps back in to continue this 9th inning at bat. 1-2. The right-hander Bergman again unloading, and a foul back again by the former Dodger Scott Schebler. The Reds have never trailed in this game. They led 3-0. They led 3-2. They led 5-2. And then the Rockies dropped a 3 spot on them in the 8th inning to tie it up. And again, the 1 ball, 2 strike delivery. And he struck him out swinging. So now let's see what Tucker Barnhart can do, and let's see how the infield will play it. They get the first out on a strikeout, and now Barnhart will step into bat from the left side of the plate. Meanwhile, Brandon Barnes runs in from center field. They're going to bring him into the infield, I think.
Yeah, they're giving him an infield glove.
He's traded his outfield glove for an infield glove, and let's see where they will deploy him. He's going to be essentially a third baseman in this situation. They're going to have 5 infielders all drawn in. Arenado is pulled in from the shortstop spot. Brandon Barnes is maybe 10 feet off the bag and 2 steps off the grass at third. And the right side of the infield is in. And here's Barnhart. And a line drive hit to right. And this one belongs to the Reds. Tucker Barnhart, he wastes no time whatsoever, getting a screamer over the drawn-in infield. His 2nd hit of the game, and that one wins this thing for the Reds in the bottom of the 9th inning. The final score is 6-5. We'll be back in a moment.